16 shots, 4 of them on target. That led to an XG of 2.47, which is the highest of any side so far this opening weekend of the Premier League. They had 30 touches in the opponent's box, 134 passes in the final third, and of course it's Manchester City, 59% of the possession. It was a really good scoreline for Manchester City, but the performance, Jamie, and the way that it developed throughout the course of the 90 minutes, how much did that impress you?
Yeah, it did. They started the game ever so well, Kelly. They really got into their stride and they thought this was going to be a comfortable afternoon. And then Wolves found a little bit of rhythm, but that almost helped Man City to a certain extent because they started to maybe take more risk and put people forward, and then that just opened up a few gaps. And sometimes it takes a bit of individual quality or someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And that's what I felt today. That's what, Tiani Reijnders did today. It felt like he just got hold of that game. You used a great word, great analogy of like his running power, his athleticism, his close control. As I said, I think I said at half time, got a lovely disposition. He stands so upright on the ball. The ball's his friend. He's very calm. He just always looks like he's going to make the right decision. And there was a smile, and he had a lovely smile. I can see him now. He had a beautiful smile at the end of the game, and it just made me think he is really, really enjoying. Look at that smile. Look, it's great to see. It's not always cool to be cool. Be happy, And I love watching him play today, and I thought he was absolutely magnificent. Let's hear from him, Kelly.
Well, Tiani Reijnders, is waiting to talk to us, and he is smiling. The camera was just framing up on him, but we've got him now. Tiani, Jamie was just saying it there. You looked as though you really enjoyed that debut. You come away with goal, you come away with assists. It felt like a really comfortable performance. How are you finding life in the Premier League?
Yeah, it's a really nice start, of course, to start with a goal and assist, and yeah, especially in the Premier League, it's a thing you always dreamt about, and yeah, starting like this, yeah, can be better.
I know we're going to talk a little bit more about your own performance, but obviously it's a really important win for the side as well to start this Premier League season with a 4-0 victory.
Yes, that's for sure, because the first game of the season you don't know what will happen, how the opponent will play, and now we did quite good. Of course, they put some good pressure on us, but we stayed calm, and yeah, a good 4-0 win.
Tiani, obviously, to impact a game the way that you did, you have to work on the training pitch. What's it been like in the opening sort of months at Manchester City, working under Guardiola?
Yeah, it's learning a lot, of course. You got a new view on yeah, how to play football, and yeah, for me it's quickly adapt and yeah, trying to do my best every time, and yeah, like the intensity on the training with the team we have, yeah, definitely you will get better.
Tiani, congratulations. Magnificent performance from you. Let's just talk about some of the goals. I'm hoping you've got a screen in front of you there. We're going to just show you the first goal and your involvement. Yes, because you go and receive the ball in a deep position, you drive with it, a lovely bit of Iniesta skill, and then a lovely scoop pass. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I saw some teammates running, but I didn't see the space to put it directly, and yeah, I had to do the shuffle, and then I saw Rico going in the deep, and yeah, I had to chip it to him, and yeah, well played of our team, of course.
And then a lovely finish as well. Erling, to play with someone like that must be obviously so impressive. And then the second goal, which you're heavily influential in, you make a really good run off the back of the mistake, and you punish it with a really good finish here.
Yeah, that are opportunities for me as well to get in the box and help the team with a goal. Then, if you take the balls on that part of the pitch, you see there is a lot of space for me to run in the deep, and yeah, it's a good view from Oscar as well to put pass me the ball, and yeah, it was a one-touch finish.
Tiani, I'm assuming you can see the third goal as well, that you have an impact in with Haaland. Of course, obviously, the goal came from your run into that space, the deep space, and then the lovely sort of awareness to know where Erling Haaland was. Is that something you felt in training, that connection with him already?
Yes, of course. He's yeah, always sharp for this kind of moments. In the first half, I could do it also, and I didn't. And then he said, "No, I will always be there." And yeah, now in the second half, I had to do it, and yeah, he did very well.
Tiani, we started off by talking about how much you look like you're enjoying life. We saw you right at the final whistle. The smile was huge. How good is it to get that debut out of the way and for it to have gone so well?
Yes, I'm always going on the pitch with a smile because, yeah, of course, I love playing football and I enjoy every minute on the pitch, and yeah, that's what I also want to show to the fans, and yeah, starting like this is unbelievable.
Have you talked as a group about what your ambitions are for this season?
Yes, and yeah, that's win trophies. Last season, City didn't win the Premier League, and yeah, that is our main goal, to win the Premier League, of course. And yeah, we all know what we want, and yeah, we are really sharp to reach that goal.
Tiani, last question. Just when you obviously knew you were going to be coming to Manchester City, was there obviously excitement, but did you feel a touch of pressure because they've had so many magnificent midfield players? I go back to sort of like, say, Yaya Toure, David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. Do you feel that expectation, a weight on your shoulders? Because it certainly didn't look like it today.
Yeah, of course, you know what names, big names were in this club, but I think it was more a proud feeling that it gave me to join Manchester City, to join one of the biggest clubs in the world at the moment, and yeah, that's what I want to show, that I'm proud to play for this club, and especially with a lot of fun and a lot of love.
And it's been a great start, so good in fact that you are the Premier League Player of the Match. I think the trophy's approaching you as we speak. Congratulations, look after it, and hopefully many more to come.
Thank you very much. Happy with it.
Thank you very much
Well
to Tiani Reijnders. And guys, I know you were both hugely impressed with that performance. What is it? What is the detail of the way that he plays that works so well?
Well, firstly, you look at the two midfielders that played in that sort of deeper role today, Gonzalez and Reijnders. Reijnders, we anticipated, would be the player that has licence to do what he did in this game, but he looks like he's had a Manchester City shirt on for a few years, in the way that, you know, so smooth, connecting with his players, his teammates so early. You can see here, like, one of the assets he has, he's a ball carrier as well, and he can take the ball away from pressure, feed other players into the game, and then look here. Just his running power into those spaces, finding his teammates, causing problems. I just think overall, you look at sort of all-round midfielders, early days at Manchester City, like I keep saying, but he seems to have that bit of everything as a midfielder, and really excited to see him progress through the season.
JB, you touched on it in your question to Tiani Reijnders himself about, you know, coming in off the back of all those great Manchester City midfielders. He's not replacing Kevin De Bruyne, but is there a sense that he's replacing some of the things that De Bruyne could bring to the side? Yeah, because you have to replace amazing assists, goals. You know, Kevin De Bruyne, for me, was, you know, one of the greatest midfield players ever. You know, he's an absolute genius. Now, it's unfair to compare because they're just totally different players. But he possesses something. All great players, when you watch them, they don't look at the ball. Their head is up. They know where the ball's going to go. They just look so comfortable. Like, I use the analogy, it's their friend. They just look like they were born to play football. And that's what he looks like so far. And it is still early days. But one of the other things now in football, which I feel is really fascinating, that it's not just about how good someone is as a footballer. When you're recruiting nowadays, you need to make sure they're a good person as well. Are you going to come in and do you want to be a footballer? Are you going to train well? Are you going to live right? Are you going to set the right examples in and around the training ground? And a lot of clubs are maybe getting rid of players because they feel that their attitudes aren't right. But when I look at him, the recruitment would have been not just because he's a good player. You do the back checks. Is he a good guy? Does he look after himself? And that's exactly what he looks like, because he looks like the perfect role model, perfect professional. And these parts of the game now are so important, because you're not just buying a good player. You don't want a player that's going to be 1 week a 9 out of 10, then he's useless in training and he turns up the following week he's 4 out of 10. He's going to give you consistency. You can just see it. And he's going to have bigger challenges. When he plays against Liverpool's midfield, when he plays against Declan Rice and types of players that are going to be all over him, he will get more of a challenge. So we'll learn more. But as debuts go, it wasn't far off perfect. I thought he was magnificent today. And even his interview, it was a really nice interview and very sort of refreshing to see. But, yeah, so far so good. But as we both said, it's still very early days, Kelly.
We would know, and we would know a lot more about your team and its new signings. What has that performance told us?
First half good, second no. So at the moment in this season, because we didn't make games, but the attitude and many things was good. But second half we punished them in transition, but they were better in certain moments second half. But it's good to improve. It's good to improve winning 0-4.
We talked a lot about the new signings you brought in. How impressed were you today, particularly by those signings that came in, particularly Tijani?
No, all of them. The new ones. Tijani is an exceptional player, one of the best players in the Serie A. They have a rhythm unbelievable, and yeah, many things have been good. I would say for the first game, you never know. We didn't play much friendly games, in pre-season, but in many things it was good, especially in the first. Second half we dropped too much, but maybe it's normal at the beginning of the season.
When you bring in new signings, then they have an instant impact. Sirski comes on from the bench and scores as well. James Trafford in goal, at Nuri as well, and they have an impact almost immediately. What is that telling you, and how satisfying is it as a club?
Yeah, it was a lot of players like James, like Ryan Nuri, like Tijani, like of course Nico Gonzalez started a little bit last season, but not much, and of course Oscar Bob was injured all season last season and played really good today. So yeah, there are. New players come, and yeah, we have bigger squad. We'll see what happens, because we have to reduce the squad, because it will be difficult to sustain the vibe of the team when many important players or many players don't play. But yeah, start is a good result, no more than that. Last season start against Chelsea, first game 0-2, and look what happened later. So be patient and improve. Many things are still going to better, but in general was good.
New players impressed, old players as well. Erling Haaland, a double for him today, and the fourth season in a row he scored on the opening day, and he seems to like scoring against Wolves.
Well, I don't know. So Erling is in a good tone. We felt it in the training sessions and the rhythm that he helped us, and yeah, in general, really satisfied with that.
I know it's really early and it's the first game, but did you sense a desire and hunger and perhaps an energy that at times you struggled with last season?
Last season also we started with hunger and energy, but yeah, that's true that it started a little bit with the World Cup, United States. Like we create a good things. Unfortunately, we not went through because okay, football is like that, but yeah. So I don't have any complaints about how we are behaving, I would say, in the training sessions, but we see it's just the first game, so many points are still to play.
One final quick question. You spoke about Edison before the game. You've told us that he's been ill. There are some media reports tonight breaking that there could be interest in him from other clubs. Do you would like to keep him? Is he a big part of your plans? Do you know anything about it, Pep?
You are the first information you give me. I don't know. So the club informed me, he informed me, so I don't know anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always interesting how little managers know about what's going on in the transfer window when it gets to this stage of the window. But look, in terms of Edison and what the future may hold for him, is the truth of the matter that James Trafford had a great debut for Manchester City. It kind of got lost in terms of some of the more attacking contributions elsewhere on the pitch.
Yeah, and I thought he had a brilliant, perfect debut in essence in terms of clean sheet. You know, he's had a contribution in the goal, of course, at the end that we analysed earlier, and yeah, I think solid. I think there was a few times he came out, he looked commanding, he looked sharp off his line, and yeah, I think all in all a good debut. And he's a very kind of humble character, and very, you know, he won't be caught up in any of the noise, he won't be caught up in anything that's going to sort of distract him. He's very focused, and I think we saw that in his performance this evening.
One of the players who isn't a debutant, but as you said, because he's been out so long with injury, Oscar Bob, it feels as though he kind of is for Manchester City. What did you make of his contribution?
Yeah, it was excellent, Kelly. I think it was a lot of talk about it being his breakthrough season last season, and he picked up a horrendous leg break, and it was so unfortunate for him because you could see his potential was there for everybody to see, and now coming back, he will just be so excited to play football again. He's got a really comfortable manner when he gets it. He's got quick feet. He gets into the box. You used the word, and you said to be clean. He's got clean feet. Look at him, how sharp he is. You don't want to tackle him because you feel like you dip a leg out, he'll win a penalty off you. He always sees the right pass. So this is going to be a really good season. I love this because his head's up. He's looking. He's waiting. Do I go right? Do I go left? So I put it perfectly onto his left foot there. And that's what you call football intelligence. Again here, he sees the good run, plays that one with his right foot, puts it on a plate for him. But no, exceptional today. I was really pleased because I suffered with injuries, and when you come back, you're so excited to come back. You don't know how you're going to be, how you're going to feel. But in terms of his first game back, I thought he was excellent. So, and he's probably had a really good pre-season as well.
Yeah, and I think fending off, you know, the competition within the squad as well to earn the start today and performing the way he did. I think, like you alluded to, then the variation in his game. We all know modern wingers are unpredictable with the ball. Like sometimes, if you're a midfielder playing with them, you don't really know if you're going to get the ball when or where the ball's going to come. But he seemed, again, we've spoken about Reijnders, but he seemed to have this really nice connection already with Reijnders, like the variation in his game, when to release the ball quickly and when to take 5, 6, 7 touches. It makes it a nightmare to play against.
I think as well for wingers, it's not an easy position to play sometimes for a Pep Guardiola team, because you saw it with Jack Grealish last year. It just didn't suit him. Every time he goes wide, he's a right footer, he's playing on the left, he goes, then he cuts back, passes it back to the fullback. I don't want to see that. I want to see fullbacks take risks, go past people. And I think that's what Oscar Bob has to do. Don't just keep passing it back to your fullback. Be the one that makes that risk, that final pass. If you do, you're just playing too safe. And I feel that has been a problem over the last couple of years, and it sometimes stifles players. But he looks like he's not going to be that type of guy. He's going to take it by the scruff of the neck and make things happen.
So we're one game into the new season. We haven't seen all of the title challenges in action yet, so let's make a snap decision on where Manchester City are going to end up this season. Opta have taken a look at some of the data. Now, obviously, at this early stage of the season, the data is somewhat limited because there are all kinds of variables in terms of how new signings set in. But they've got Manchester City as third favourites with a 19.9% chance. Now, look, to put this into context, last season they had Liverpool at a 5% chance at this stage of the season of winning the title. So, with all of that said, from what you've seen so far in this one game of the Premier League season, what do we think in terms of Manchester City's season? How good can it be? Can they get their hands back on the title?
I think $1 million question. Who knows? I mean, we've seen a dominant performance today. I think that percentage has gone up by 1% since what I read yesterday. It was at 18% yesterday, so of course it's going to increase off the back of today.
I suppose probably the better question is have the changes that they've made from what we've seen made them a better title challenger than they were last season?
I think it would be safe, and I would agree with that. I think definitely, you know, what they've added to the squad, you know, we spoke about the power of Reijnders, obviously Gonzalez coming in, Rodri to come back, which will probably feel like an almost a new signing, knowing what he can do and, you know, the place that he's in when he gets back, we'll see. But I think in terms of the forward line, obviously Marmoush is embedded now within the club. Gonzalez, you know, he was a solid performer today in the midfield. Cherki coming in to sprinkle his magic on games. It's just about the consistency and the dominance of opponents. And Manchester City aren't going to say they're going to win the league. They're going to want the processes to be better than they were at this time last season. And of course, we look at the two teams above on that table there with Arsenal and Liverpool. I mean, the league table could look exactly like that next season. It could be Arsenal at the top. It could be Liverpool second. Who knows? But I think you look at the quality in the two squads above, Arsenal and Liverpool, and you go, they're going to take some serious beating across the course of the season.
I think Opta supports Newcastle. He must have.
Do you think that's the most surprising one on there?
Well, of course. I mean, they've been in disarray this pre-season.
But if we take that as well, it says Newcastle got a chance of finishing 5th. And at the moment, Alexander Isak is still a Newcastle player.
I'm not quite seeing that at the moment. It's been a really hard, tough pre-season for Eddie Howe. I'm not sure how you could quite get to that conclusion at the moment. Chelsea, I really like what Chelsea have done. I think Levi Colwill getting injured has been a huge blow for them. And it probably changes everything because they might have to dip into the transfer market, but with financial fair play, are they able to do that? That's a blow. But that for me is right now, that's your top 3. And I don't think they're too far wrong. You know, Liverpool, once they get Gravenberch back in midfield, people talk about how open they've been. They're open because he's not playing. It's pretty obvious. Arsenal are going to be exceptional. Zubimendi, Gyökeres are going to be good. And Manchester City, they are always good. And it's going to be hard to beat. And especially if you factor in, and Izzy said it right at the top of the show, you factor in how good they are and all the options they've got, and Rodri coming into that midfield as well, who's one of the best at what he does. They're going to go really close. But if you were to put me on the spot, I just feel, you know, if Liverpool were to get another centre-back in Gay, and if they can get Alexander Isak, I think they will be the favourites this season to beat.
Well, they're certainly the favourites as far as Opta is concerned, but that's with the squads as they are at the moment. Like you said, there's still a couple of weeks to go in the transfer window to try and make those changes. But it was a really good start to the season, as we've been saying, for Manchester City. Less so for Wolves with that 4-0.
Vitor, obviously a disappointing result for you at the end of the day, but how do you assess the performance first and foremost?
Look, We faced a strong team, technically strong, individually strong. But we create a lot of chance to score. We have our opportunities to score goals. And I believe that the defense was, of course, not only the goals, but when we committed a mistake, they scored. They punish us. When we have the chance to score, we didn't score. Of course, I'm not happy. But we play with courage. We didn't play just to defend, but we play to create and to press them sometimes in some moments of the game. But that in the end, the result, in my opinion, is a result that didn't. If I don't see the match, is a result that cannot translate what happened inside.
You mentioned mistakes by your team. Were there moments in the game where perhaps you could have been technically better and perhaps you've given the advantage to City to be able to go on and score?
Special playing to the middle, understand? We cannot, the mistakes, almost of them, was we didn't realize because we're training a lot not to commit this kind of mistake, playing or build the play in the middle, because they are aggressive and they want to. This is what they want. But in the end, we committed and missed some aggressiveness in the 1-against-1. You know, they score. They score 1 or 2 goals that with a bit more of aggressiveness in the middle, we didn't concede. But you know, I'm a manager that I will keep in my mind the good things, and we start to correct the things that we need to correct, and try to be better in the next game. This is the way that I look for football.
We talked about the bad moments, but the good moments for you. What stood out in particular in that performance? We missed a big chance to score goals. 1 goal cancelled in offside. It was 1-0 for us. We have a big chance in when we start the second half to make 2-1. And we had another 2 or 3 chances to score on the box. Sometimes missing just a second, just the last pass. But in the end is to keep going with work and I hope the club can help us with the new signs to bring more quality. You preempted my next question, particularly in that final third, that striking area. You have brought some new players in, but do you need more attacking options? And do you have perhaps those options in your mind at this moment with the transfer window still open?
Of course, the club knows that we need some positions.
Do you sense you're close to getting those deals over the line?
This is not my job. My job is not to sign players, but they are working, and I hope until the end of the market that we can bring more 3-4 players at least.
Well, look, he's talking about his squad, and while acknowledging that there were issues in terms of the performance and where maybe they fell short today, it's also right to point out that they're in the summer transfer window, they've had to let go plenty of players and key players, the captain, the top goal scorer, and they've got good money in for them, but it's just the case that they're having to deal with replacing them.
Well, they're in a rebuild, and of course we spoke about the impact that Pereira had last season when he took over from Gary O'Neill, and you looked at any games that Wolves, salvaged wins or points from, and Matthias Cunha was at the heart of it, Aït-Nouri was at the heart of it, Guedes, of course, Semedo was involved. Sarabia obviously had a really good season, and they're missing all these players, and they've replaced them, and I'm looking who replaced Aït-Nouri. It's Moller Wolf at left wing back. Who's replaced Cunha? It's Arias from Fluminense, who's had an impact over a number of years at Fluminense, but can he do it in the Premier League? And that's always the question. And to replace a player like Cunha, who's obviously got a massive move to Man United, and I'm sure that everyone wishes him well, and I think he'll flourish there. I really do. With the way that he took games by the scruff of the neck last season for Wolves, to miss that is massive, and it's about how Pereira can build this squad up. And I thought at times today there were moments where they looked really organised, really aggressive, but then there were times where they were so vulnerable, and that's what cost them a couple of goals this evening. So, yeah, he's got a big job.
And even if the players that had left the club weren't of the quality that those players are, it's the number of minutes. It's just the fact that there is so much change, Jamie. More than any other club in the Premier League, Wolves are missing players who were key. To everything that they did, and that affects the relationships within the squad as well. Yeah, absolutely, been decimated. And there's the quality. You look at Aït-Nouri today, what a good footballer he is. He had such an assured debut for Manchester City. He looks so calm. And the players that they're losing, it makes it so difficult. And then when you go back into the market and you're trying to spend that money, it becomes more difficult, and you're taking risks, you're taking gambles on players that you don't quite know how they're going to adjust to the Premier League. It's not going to be easy. Obviously, Strand Larsen did really well on loan. I totally get that one. Fer Lopez is £21 million. He's played 7 top-flight games. So he's obviously played lower league games, and he's obviously got a lot of talent. I think he played against Barcelona and Real Madrid last season, and they obviously see something in him. But he hasn't had loads of top-flight football. 7
Arias,
top-flight starts.
7, it's incredible. But to pay £21 million, they've obviously done their recruitment, they've looked into it, and they really do fancy him, and I hope he does well. Arias, as you say, he's come from Fluminense, £15 million, but big shoes to fill because of how good Cunha was. Muller Wolf did OK to that. Left back wasn't easy for him. So it's going to take a little bit of time for those players to bed in. But the manager did such a good job last year. You're going to have to trust him. And also, Kelly, like you said a few minutes ago, it's still early. They might be able to get some more players in, and they'll probably look at how these first couple of games go. And then you see a little bit more desperation from teams sometimes, because you're thinking, we don't want to be a relegation fight. We want to stay in this Premier League. It's so important to everybody. Yeah, they do definitely want to add to the squad on top of that. And they, presumably, from the money that they've recouped from the signings will be, or from the players that they've sold, will be able to dip back into the transfer market in the next couple of weeks.